Hi, Renee.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Trying to keep up.
I
Been
bet.
feeling
Are
been
you
feeling bad about my throat all day.
are you losing your voice?
It's giving me troubles.
Are you getting any sleep?
Only a few hours a day. It's
Mm,
as far as I can manage.
that's gotta be rough.
It is. At least for this week, at least it is. Because there is a lot of tickets going around and people need help. So we start at 6 a.m. your time, and we usually leave about 5 p.m. Even sometimes later than 5 p.m. your time.
Mm. What's the
All
time
right, so
difference?
between you and us, it's 11 hours. You're 11 hours behind us. So for me, it's 9 p.m. at the moment. For you, it's close to 8 a.m. in the morning, correct?
10.
Oh, sorry, you're 11. Yes, close to 10. The time difference is always confusing.
You work graveyard shift for us, huh?
One can say that.
Hmm.
All right, so How has it been so far?
So far I haven't really had any issues other than there's been just a couple of things, but nothing that I can't work around.
Okay. One big difference in your process is the payment method situation that was brought up yesterday.
Yep, and it looks like that's all fixed and that's
Right.
fine.
I had a discussion with Karen, and we could add those details into the bank accounts, but then the same thing cannot go into multiple entries. So it felt the best way that we add them back into tags.
Hmm.
That way, you'll have that information. It's not flooding any other areas. And tags for finance is a common thing to have you're used to that in the past as
Hmm.
well. Now, the overall process of managing things, there is a few new functionalities, right, around
Hmm.
the receipt process that weren't there previously. And I can walk you through those, but if you have any specific questions that you want me to walk you through first, let's go address that.
Well, um, so I'm getting in my world, I'm getting uh quite a few of the automatic RFQs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like right now, I have two for a couple of the same vendors that I ended up canceling a couple of them yesterday, thinking, well, maybe it's because I already had those created before we went into the new version. But
Mm-hmm.
then I noticed today that I have them again. So like the Edwards label ones. Um,
This one. All right.
yeah. Uh, I thought when because that's the only for those type of labels we only order from that vendor. I thought it would all be on stay like on one RFQ versus creating another RFQ.
Mm-hmm. And that's usually what I expect this to be as well.
So right now I have two then. And I'm
Okay.
wondering if is that maybe possibly because of like the date? Like, okay, it was okay yesterday, but today it's not, and it just created another RFQ, or shouldn't it have just added to the one that was already there? Because that's what I remember seeing in V13 was it would just add
Mm-hmm.
on to the one that was already there.
Right. Let me see if there is anything related to routes on that front that we need to fix. Right now, what I think is happening is because of this deadline for purchase, because it's in the past. The new one that got created is has this new order deadline. So if you are working through this thing and then you have to work through multiple RFQs, the order deadline, as soon as that passes, it's gonna go away. So maybe you keep up with the order deadline if that's the issue, and it will go in that direction. Let me also take a look at other things. So currently, if I take a look at what causes what actually processes that buy step is this factor right here. So this is a pull and push. And let me enable the technical settings as well so we can verify if the propagation is where a link chain is maintained, right? So one thing is connected to the other, and then it will make sure that it's going in the forward direction and keeping the connection there. The final step for buy is usually not linked or changed, so it automatically gets combined into one single thing for a single vendor rather than one single RFQ for a single purchase triggered. So this looks okay. This is propagate. Now if we take a look at buy, which is right here, this is leave empty and everything here looks good. So this is one aspect. Now taking a look at the replenishment, I think we have came across an error here. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
So if it is because of possibly the date, can I like push the date out a month, just change the date to like a month from now type
Yeah.
thing, and then it would instead of generating the second
Hmm.
one, it would just add on to
Yes.
the
Keep
one that's
adding.
already there?
Keep adding. Yes.
Okay, because I do that. I've been doing that like with other ones, but I thought maybe it had something to do with because I changed the date, that's why it did that. So I canceled all
Hmm.
the old ones from B13 and just went with the ones that it generated, and then I didn't change the dates because I thought maybe
Hmm.
that might have had an issue.
No,
But
the changing the deadline is basically the factor that I believe is coming in the way. But I'll
okay.
still go take a look at this replenishment and hold on. Let me fix it first on staging. Let me see if I can also get a developer take a look at this thing because this is, I believe I've seen this error before where opening this window give you this error.
Is that just our whole system right now,
Nope,
or
just
is
the
that
replenishment.
okay?
I'll keep a copy of this so we don't lose that. Alright, so it doesn't give me the error anymore. Now let me go back and make it go to replenish window. It opens up at least at this point. Let me apply the same thing for production so you don't get into a problem when
Mm-hmm.
this happens. Now I'll take a ticket for that and make sure that we fix it for the long run. Menu items. There it goes. Now, one thing that I think will help you is in this condition for the order deadline is the factor that you define the lead time to purchase on here, right?
Yeah, in the in the past it was I believe I almost all of them that I created I put as like how many days it takes to actually get here, like to arrive,
There is two, no, there is two
delivery
levels.
time. What's
There is
that?
two levels. There is two levels.
I know there was
Uh,
two choices, but
no, there is actually two levels. Now,
oh,
in this condition, this lead time, right? You see here,
mm-hmm.
this is your lead time for purchase, correct? And then there is, I believe, another lead time situation here. Let me see if it's still a valid thing. Hold on. Let me verify because I believe in version 13 there was two things there. Let me see if it's still a part of version 15 as well or it has been taken away. Previously it used to be like how many days to initiate the purchase process. So if you say 2 days to initiate the purchase process, it wouldn't start the process until 2 days have passed. But I believe this isn't a factor anymore. So the lead time right now is what you have the right understanding for, and I believe you're correct in that context. So it's only a single lead time, and that too on the replenishment rule directly here. So clicking here gets me to the vendor that's available, and then if I set this as a supplier, my lead time can then be defined directly on the purchase profile in the product. Currently, there is no vendor defined. This means whatever vendor is available, the purchase will be triggered from them. This one has a lead time. So this is going to come from Amazon, and then in 3 days' time, you'll have this worked out.
So can you go back to that book that you were the taking charge where I ordered from Amazon? Where did you see where it showed that Amazon was the oh, never I found it. I didn't see
This
you
this
went so quick I didn't see where the vendor was.
The green button shows you the option to set the vendor. And since this is on staging, I can click here and set them as a supplier. So every time the buy is going to go forward, it goes from them. And then you can define a specific route as well. So you can say instead of dropship, I'm going to do buy in my warehouse and get this into this location.
It's not
So
usually
this is
so
where
loud
it goes. And
in here. Are you hearing all the background noise that is going on around me?
I could hear somebody say something on the phone.
Okay. I was gonna say they're all going into a meeting now, so maybe it'll be quieter.
Uh, So for now, I believe the major change you have is this thing, the replenishment rules, right? The number one major change, where
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to define how much, what location. It will tell you how much you have on hand, and then control if it's manual or automatic, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to make that happen, you'll have to enable these fields here. So if you enable the trigger field, you enable the yeah, I think that's the biggest change here for the trigger. This, then you say if it has to be a manual, then you can control how much every time is being ordered. So currently it says to order nothing. Now, if I say my min and max rule is defined to be 80,000 minimum, 100,000 maximum on this product, you see, it tells me the to order quantity. I can
Mhm.
click and I can change the quantity even now. Why? Because this is manual. If I set this to auto, right, it will automatically do the quantity that's required every time. Going forward, any manual rule can be changed into auto directly from here. So you click on automate orders, it will start going into the RFQs automatically. One more thing, it can also be used to do manufacturing. So let's say you say a blend should be available in X number of quantity in the warehouse, and it has to be a manufactured item, like the warehouse manages the quantities, so they can set up a rule for themselves as well. So maybe not only you do your buying thing, they will be able to do their replenishment rules to control the manufacturing. In that situation, if we say the bills of materials are there, so if you select a specific bills of material, it will always make sure that it's using that bill of material to do the manufacturing process. So this is the biggest change that you have. On the other hand, in the vendor profile, almost everything remains exactly the same except for this change that we have discussed already, the payment method. So considering the factor that the profile itself is there, the sales and purchase sections are there, the payment terms were not changed, so anything you had on the payment terms previously has been taken forward. Everything else you can consider that it's same. There is one thing there that's in this section, right? The on time delivery rate. So let's say if you keep buying from a vendor and they deliver you late or in time, you'll be able to identify those reporting pieces from that factor. Give me a vendor's name that you think delivers always late.
Always late? Um,
Hmm.
oh, I don't know.
Just give me any vendor's name, and then let's see if we have the data for them as to how their delivery rates are.
How about Pen Herb?
With PEN or
Two
PAN.
ends.
Okay.
Two ends right there.
All right, so we have this profile right here. Odoo tells me that they deliver only 38% on time. Why? If you click on it, it takes you to that information. Now, this is their delivery rate for this product. When you order this product, they deliver 99% on time. This is one view of it. Then, if on the other side you want other measures like the quantity or something else, it can give you that detail here. On the other side, if I go into purchase and open up any purchase orders for them, based on the products you have in there, if you start a new purchase order with them right here, it tells you right away that this is their
Mm-hmm.
on delivery. Now, one more thing I believe we should be able to do is, let me activate that functionality. Now that you're on the call with me, I can make that happen because we didn't change any configuration when going live. But in here, there remember the option of sending them a reminder to deliver,
Mm-hmm.
confirm their date for delivery. I'll activate that functionality for you right here. So receipt reminder and then three-way matching. Let's go activate both of them. And I'll do the same thing on staging as well. Receipt reminder and three-way matching. Now, the receipt reminder is a completely separate thing. The three-way matching is a completely separate thing related to accounting. And I'll show you both of these things because you didn't use them in the past. So if you start using them today, you should be able to understand and see how things are moving. Now, the receipt reminder is a very straightforward thing. You can define how many days every vendor should be sent a reminder to confirm the receipt date. And then when you have a confirmation from them, you can mark that confirmation directly on the purchase order that you have for them. The three-way matching, however, is a very interesting thing. Consider that you created a PO for, let's say, 10 quantity of something at dollar pop, then they deliver 10 quantity, but when you receive the bill from them, they say it's 10.5 per item. There is a checking mechanism in the bills where if you open up a bill and it's related to a purchase order, you will get the indication of yes, no, or exception related to any bill you record for a PO, right? So should you be paying that bill? Yes, no, or is there an exception that you should be checking before you proceed? So I'll show you both of these things right there. Now we'll take pen as an example for the whole use case here. All right, so this is the one that we created just now. Don't worry, no emails are going to be sent out. Now, since we have activated the functionality for the reminder, I can edit their profile and then say they need to be reminded for the receipts at any point in time. So you can control how many days. This could be an agreement beforehand that they confirm you for the receipt date at least 3 days ahead. It could be a week, it could be 15 days time, depending on how many orders go through and how much is the lead time. Now in here, you see the receipt date I can define, or depending on the product selected. Can you give me a product name as a test example right here?
False unicorn.
Right. So you see, it automatically fetches this date. Now, this date comes up for them depending on the lead time. That's something you already know, right? So if I change the lead time here, if I say it takes them 12 days to deliver this, and they do it in this price, that price is automatically picked up as well, and the date will also be picked up considering whatever product we pick. So 27 automatically. Now with this 27th date, let me get rid of production so we're not sending actual POs out. If I click confirm, right, you see this button that shows here now. If they, as soon as we reach to a point where the receipt confirmation is supposed to happen, this email for the receipt confirmation will automatically be sent out to them. Number one, that they have to confirm the receipt. And then when you have the confirmation for the receipt, you will be able to click this button and say it's confirmed. Now the same thing,
Now, is that all done through Odoo email? Like
yes.
they'll confirm the receipt and then
hmm
I go in and select it is confirmed by vendor, or does it do it automatically?
No, it doesn't do it automatically.
Okay,
They could be saying anything, right? So
right.
in this situation, let me see if I can show you the format for the receipt reminder. I'll find the template and I'll show you. So this is the vendor reminder. So it gives them the name, right?
Mhm.
And it gives them the PO, and it gives them the date, and it gives them this message. So if it goes out, let's say we pick a preview for this same PO in the list, it looks something like this.
Okay.
This is the same PO. So they will be asked this simple thing. Here's a reminder that this is expected to come. Can you please confirm it will be delivered on time? They're going to respond back, and you'll find that response in here. Now,
Mm-hmm.
depending on that response, whether it's a yes or no, you will be able to mark this thing. And this is the exact reason why it's a manual step.
Okay.
So once it's confirmed by vendor, you will be able to see, all right, how many things have been confirmed and how many things have not been confirmed yet. So
So are there technically two confirmations, one for the PO and then one for the receipt date?
the receipt date, the PO confirmation is part of the process. The receipt date confirmation is something that you just make sure you do in order to have a good supply chain. Because if
Mm-hmm.
they don't hear from you, you don't hear from them up to the point of delivery, then at that point you will have this problem that people are delivering late and you don't have any idea about that, right? So in this
Right, because
situation,
right now I do all that through my email. Like,
yep,
okay, I haven't had a shipping confirmation. Has this shipped? I do that all through my email right now, so I can just do it that way instead.
you can
Mm-hmm.
then mark the whole thing here. But if you set up this thing to be automated, the email will automatically go out to them in this many days before the receipt.
Okay.
So if you activate this and you don't want to remember sending an email, this will automatically go out 3 days before to every PO that's created for them. And if it's an agreed thing with them, if they confirm, you'll find the information there, considering that you would be the person creating the POs, being the purchase representative. Then in the next level, you just have to see when you receive the response, you click this button. Simple as that.
Okay. And so, on those email, for each PO or whatever, do those come in as um, uh, not a scheduled activity, but you know how we get the notes up at the top there on the left? Can't think of
Hmm.
what it's
The
called right now,
chatter.
but like the activities, and then there's, yeah, conversations.
Yep. We call this the chatter. And in the chatter, yes, you'll find the same thing. The same way as soon as you click the button, you see this come up. The email going out will be seen here. The response received from them will be seen here as well.
Okay.
And you'll be notified if you're a follower. In this case, I'm the follower, right? So I'm getting this notifications of all the discussions that are happening. And
Mm-hmm.
the same way, you'll find the information coming to you.
Okay.
So this is one aspect. Now going forward, this is the product that we needed to receive from them. The receiving process remains. There is a separate session for quality and the warehouse in this process, but the receipt process pretty much the same. We're doing the receipt in quar- quarantine first, and the second step of it is already created where it's going from quarantine to the raw material location, since it's the raw material by itself, right? So validation makes sure that you are able to process this in the building at the first level. So this is my first level of processing. As far as the purchase goes, it has gone into receiving for quarantine just now, but for the vendor, you have received it in your building, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they could send you the bill at this point, and the creation of bill is same. You can do it from here, you can do it directly on the bill, and then with the new documents module, you can upload the bill and create a bill in the accounting from that module. All of these things are possible. Right now, I'll just go through here, and then if I click confirm, you see, let me see if I have, let me refresh so we can see that three-way matching thing. This looks like I'm not seeing that field because of something that was previously there.
You should have those the
These two
yes or
fields are,
no or whatever, right?
yes. In this section it usually shows up, but I'm not seeing that there, and I believe it's because of this set of fields that we have here. And I believe the reason for that is there is this view for these two fields that we see right here, the inventory picking and back order that came through from V13, but since this is supposed to go into the same place, they're taking over. So I've taken this note on my side, making sure that if we take a look at that, it's available to be used. Let me see how many views do we have here. Um, I'll have to find where it's coming from because right now it looks like too many references for the right field, and these two shouldn't even be there.
That's just in the draft bill though, right? The back order thing? Because we do need that for receipts though.
Um, what do
Because
you
there's
mean?
well, like for example, like just a couple of weeks ago, Penn Herb only delivered
Hmm.
20 out of the 30 pounds to us. So we created a back order for the other
Right,
10
right, right.
pounds.
The bill is where these two fields are taken away. The functionality for the back order, the whole thing there in the receipts is going to stay exactly the
Okay,
same. If you're
that's what
receiving
I
less
just
than
want to
what
make
you
sure.
require,
Want to make sure we weren't taking that away
uh,
from the receipt part.
all right. So I've taken a note of this three-way matching situation, but let me give you a little brief on how it happens. Now, there are two factors that play into this, the quantity and the price, right? So if your
Hmm.
PO says that the quantity is one and you have received one and you have billed one and the unit price is exactly the same, it's going to be a straightforward yes,
Hmm.
right? Then if you have your quantity says one, you have received zero, your billed is one, right? Which is not going to be a case with you for most of the things because you only do the billing after you receive things.
Right.
But if it goes into that direction, it will say a straight no
Hmm.
because you haven't received the product yet.
Right.
The third situation is if your quantity is one, your received is one, and the build is two, or the unit price changes, In that situation, it will say exception. Exception
Okay.
means there is something wrong. So you go back and check the whole cycle. What did you receive? What are you asked to be paid for? And then what is the bill saying?
Mhm.
So all three things should mash together, making sure that the whole thing is ready to be paid full in full.
So once that is I guess that my question's probably more for Karen, so never mind it.
Okay. If
If
you
they
want, I probably
You might be able to
can take
answer
it.
it. I was just thinking if we're going to be doing that three-way matching, then
Hmm.
are we still going to be scheduling activities for me to approve my invoices?
Now, based on my discussion with Karen, there is only going to be a certain point where you deal with the invoices or the bills, right? So in that situation, if you think that you're validating the invoices that you're responsible for, yes, you will be doing that even moving forward
Okay.
with the billing access. But the final, I think Karen is still thinking about what it needs to be exactly. So maybe you'll have a final decision between you both at maybe by the end of this week. For now, she said that she wants you to be billing, and this is the access level that you're controlling. So with that, you're not able to control accounting settings, but you're able to see the bills and process them.
Okay.
All right, so I think those are the biggest changes. One more thing that I wanted to run with you. You do a bunch of reporting, right, around the things. Now, the reporting section right here, there is this dashboard view, and then there is this straightforward report, right? In here, all of the things that you previously had are added, right? And even the fields that you don't see here, if you want, you can go to export and get those fields as well. So the fields for schedule date, the purchase UOM, or the PO quantity, all of these fields are also here in this segment. Plus, this is available on the pivot view as well. But in the dashboard, you have a few factors that you can take a look at. Now, if you're trying to see if what product category has what sort of delays or the cycle times, you can see from here. So let's say you go into this and then you tell the system that you want to take a look at this product category for raw material. Whenever you buy raw material, right? And
Mhm.
from a specific vendor, you can also see. So Pen Herbs is the vendor that I'm trying to find here. So whenever you buy from Pen Herbs, what is the results on that? In this scenario, we are looking at the untaxed total amount. You could be looking at days to confirm, days to receive, right? It takes this many days to confirm, this many days to receive, and this is how many days of delay they usually have. Average order size, and then the total number of orders, the total amount of purchase from them for this category. Also, you can go in and group by any factor here as well. So let's say you go in and you say, show me by product category grouped, and then you remove this filter, and then you make it into this factor. So you have been buying ingredients from them. You can look at the total quantity. So total quantity ordered right here, 1,000, 19,000, 190, I guess, is the number here total. And then there is more information available here. You can build your pivot tables. You can build the overall information. This whole dashboard is going to work on the basis of the filters that you have up here. So if you want to see the performance of each vendor, if you want to see the performance of each category, a specific product, how much time does it take for that product to be ordered? How many orders did you place in the bag for any number of durations? Thus, that whole thing can be done here. Then also, you can, with this view, with the dashboard view, you can create your pivot tables. And in the pivot tables, if you need, you can define any factors on any of the accesses. Considering that the dashboard information is here, the documents module hasn't been installed, so I'm having a session Friday with Eli, after which we'll set up set up the documents module. You'll be able to create the Excel, the spreadsheet reports we talked about as well. And
Mhm.
there is one more factor. On Friday, on the same Friday, we have this module that allows you to build dashboards for yourself. So if you have any reporting requirements, this can build custom reports anytime, any day you want. This module is supposed to be doing custom reporting for any factors you need, right? So if you have a specific report requirements, I'll be teaching Eli how to use this, right? And in here, they can be dashboards or reports added directly into the purchase module that you only can use.
So do you so with that dashboard, do you go into the dashboard module, create your
Report.
report and save it right there, or do you
Okay.
uh
Let me show you an example. So I'm gonna
okay.
call this the dashboard for purchase, right? The
Mhm.
menu name for this is going to be purchase, and I say that it shows under reporting in the purchase menu. So I'll pick this. And then in here, I'm not going to say anything else. Now, this is my dashboard being created, right? And I define the sequence of this as 100. This means this shows at the very end. Now, in here, there is no need to define any filters if you just need a dashboard. This dashboard, when it's created, if I go into purchase now and refresh, the dashboard is added, right?
Okay,
Now,
that's nice.
in the dashboard, I can create tiles. Let me give you a few examples. Open POs, right? And in
Mhm.
here I define. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk to Eli for this is because it's a little technical to define the criterias. In here, I'm saying I want to look at POs, right? The total purchase orders, and in the purchase orders, I'm only looking at the ones that have not been received fully, right? So
Mhm.
status is purchase order lines. In fact, I can go further in. Mm, I think we'll have to figure out the factor to get to this point. But I can take a look at, just to show you, I can take a look at the billing status, open PO, nothing to bill or waiting bills. Let's say POs waiting for bills. All right, so it's going to show me all the POs. There is 9 in the list right now that have this factor. And the date filter field is going to be any field that it has a date factor, right? So I can take a look at the count. I can take a look at the sum, right? And if we talk about the sum, it could be the sum of the total PO reference, right? So this is my amount for the PO that's waiting for bills at the moment. I can control the display factor. I can say it needs to auto update after every 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever seconds you need it to be. And then on top of that, if I save this, this is my one method. So every 15 seconds, this tile updates. Now I go back to reporting into the purchase. This is one. I can add more items. The same thing if I go in and I say this needs to be edited, full settings. I can turn it into a bar chart where there is more information. I can have an area chart, pie chart, or any sort of thing. I can set up KPIs, right? I can set up to do things where you can set up tasks for your sections. You can add your list of things to complete, and it will help you do those actions. And this all shows in the same dashboard,
Mm.
right? And you can define the layout. You can uh, do it on a specific date filtration, and then as you click on any item, it will take you forward into that detail as well. So these are all the ones that are waiting for bills at the moment. You see test vendor, because we created those. But other than that, if you have actual details of things that are waiting for bills, you can take a look at them and go work with them. So everything is drillable. You can print it out, take a specific section, and then export that section. If it's a document exportable thing, you'll be able to do that as well. But if you simply click print, it'll give you the whole dashboard in a print on a PDF.
On a PDF. Oh,
So if you have more items, right, all those items will then be available. So if I click duplicate on the purchase dashboard, again, so the same thing appears. I can change the factors, change it to be something else. Now, if I print with 3 items on it, it prints with 3, right? If I change the layout on that, so it could be any size, any layout, any factor. This is the dashboard builder that we have talked to Eli about already in the simulation process. And
hmm.
then this is already available to use, right? If anyone wants to start building, we are doing a session Friday to teach Eli a little bit about how this can be used. And then as soon as you're in, you can create as many dashboards as you need for any section. There can be one dashboard for sales, one for accounting, one for purchase, two for accounting, two for purchase, any number you want. And it can be access controlled as well. So let's say this dashboard only needs to be available for people who have purchase access. Although we did place it in the purchase module, but we can say only the purchase administrator can access this thing.
Okay.
Nobody else sees this. So this is one factor of you being able to run your reporting a little bit better. But other than that, you have your segment for reporting, and then you'll have the option of using the spreadsheets as we discussed in the past. So all of those things stay the same. This dashboard module is actually there to build on top of all of that.
Okay.
Any questions do you think you have in your mind right now related to any of the new functionalities? I have 2 things that I need to look at here, and then once I validate through this, we'll be able to fix those.
Not necessarily with the new stuff. I'm intrigued on playing around with the dashboard though.
Uh,
I can't
um,
I
you
can't wait to build some reports.
You'll need some assistance initially. If you have any ideas on your mind, share them with Eli. Maybe on the session, we can take this as an example where the reports are being built for your requirements, and he can take some examples from that and learn his way through.
Okay. One thing I did, I haven't been able to figure out how to find. So right now I'm doing planning of bulk herbs,
Hmm.
and I know that some I've ordered some herbs, and I know they're in
Hmm.
testing and they haven't been released yet. And I used to
Hmm.
use the lab module to see what is in testing.
Okay.
But I don't know where to find that information now.
Okay. The simplest of ways, because in testing means they're in a specific location, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that location is the QC quarantine for receiving. So you go to inventory, the inventory module, and then you open up reporting. And in the reporting, you say my location is QC, right? In here, hold on, I believe you call it quarantine. So quarantine is your location. This is how many quarantine locations you have right now. Because I am activated on multiple companies. I'll
Mm-hmm.
search through this and see the locations. In here, you see you have MMH quarantine for finished goods, and then you have MMH quarantine for receiving. This is all the items that you have in receiving. If you want to go by product specific, you can go product specific and then see for each product how many units. If you want to go by lot number, serial number, you can also do that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't see. I'm not seeing our lot numbers in there. Like, Kylie would have received stuff Monday, and I'm not seeing uh uh in the like I said, like in the lab module, it was just listed there that what was in testing or recently received type started the
Hmm.
testing, and it would show our lot numbers there. So
So lot numbers are also here as well. You see,
okay, and so how do I filter that even further to just like I only want the raw material,
mm,
like the bulk herbs?
right?
So like some things are whip, they're extracts or they're single
Hmm.
extracts or finished goods or whatnot, where I'm looking for mainly anything that starts with an R for a serial number.
Here you go.
So that has R's and P's.
Do you want to also exclude these?
Yeah, I don't want the
Okay.
I don't I don't want
So in the same report, you can go in and you can say custom filter product category contains ingredient because that's your R's, right?
so it's the category is how I drill down into it.
Yep. And even without applying the filter, right now, do you see the filter? First filter is location quarantine, right? Now,
Mhm.
quarantine receiving is the location here. And in on the basis of that, if I group by location, there is two location factors. So instead of saying quarantine, if you say receiving in the location, there comes your location. On here, you can say show me by product category, right? So in here, you cannot group, but you can still apply the filter for product category. Now, you only want to see product ingredients. Ingredients under raw material always make themselves available when you apply the filter. So this is how many you have in the receiving segment right now. Now, one more thing you can take a look at is the
So
incoming date.
there's a lot of there's a lot of weird stuff there.
Yep, there is a lot of weird stuff. There is this thing that's sitting here since September 2020. I have
Yeah.
grouped it based on the incoming date now. So here's your June bias. You can do it on the basis of a day as well. So
Mm, okay.
this is everything that came in June 15th. This was received. June 13th, you received these four things. June 6th, you received these nine things, right? And the reason why they're not available is because the next movement that's supposed to take them forward is ready to go. So they're all reserved there. 10 things came through in April. Out of that, April 25 has five things. And out of that, this wormwood powder isn't moving anywhere because there is no reservation for that. So
When
this
you
report
say
is going to be a friend.
reservation, what do you mean by that? That wormwood
Okay.
powder hasn't been released yet and moved
Uh,
to
it's
stock?
not even scheduled to be released.
Huh. So
Let me
how
tell
are
you why
okay.
I say reservation is a big thing. Remember when I started this PO with you and said there is a two-step thing. Once in it goes into quarantine, there is another movement that's taking it forward to the stock,
Right?
right? So I'll open up the same PO and come back to this. Now, I take the reference. For the inventory people, there is going to be a two-step movement all the time, right? They first take it into quarantine and then go forward and take it forward into the next level. Now you
Mhm.
see from vendors to quarantine completed. As soon as it's completed, in the stock report, it'll start showing um, in the quarantine location, the location that we were looking at. So right now, if I go in and I say, show me the stock report and show me this product, right? So ZFAL01, back to the same report. I say, show me how much of it is in quarantine. So receiving is my location, right? ZFAL01 is my product. You see this quantity that's there. Now, this one we just received today, right? But you see the available quantity on this is zero. The reason why it's zero is because the next movement that is supposed to take this forward into stock is ready to go. After the quality checks have been processed, you will be somebody from the warehouse will be able to take it forward. This means it has a plan to move forward. The same goes with this one. However, if I take a look at the incoming date on this, in fact, this is again a June thing. So this is also June. What date is that, by the way? So 1st of June, 320 actually landed into the quarantine receiving, but they
Mhm.
haven't been moved. But you see the available is zero. This means it's scheduled to go somewhere. Now, where's that scheduled? I come to the list of transfers, right? And in the list of transfers, I can search by ZFAL01, and then I will see everything that's waiting or ready. Now, ready is this and this and this, right? So this is my PO that I just created now with the one quantity in it,
Mhm.
you see? And then the other one is the other PO that was the first step of which has already been processed. So from quarantine receiving to, you see, the reservation of 320 is already
Mhm.
done. The demand of that was 960, right? But only 320 can be processed. So Kylie Heron is supposed to move this into stock after the quality is completed, but it's not done yet. There is one more that's sitting here, but it's not able to go forward. Reason, the false unicorn route here, 144 demand, the PO operation to receive it in the warehouse hasn't been completed. So I'm going back to transfers, searching for this PO, right? You see, a bunch of these things are here. Some of them have been completed, some of them have not been completed. So I believe this one that's cancelled contains that false unicorn route. So somebody canceled the receipt but didn't cancel the final movement. So this should also be cancelled essentially because the first step of this has been cancelled already. So there is too much going around.
So so
Considering
how do you, okay, so I know that I've done some canceling of receipts
Mhm.
because she created back orders and I was like, no, we're not going to get the rest of that. So I would can't go in and cancel the receipt. Is there another step that I'm missing that I'm not doing when I cancel?
um essentially if you cancel the receipt, this means the second operation to move that product into the stock from quarantine receiving should also be cancelled. But I believe this should be an action that they do because you wouldn't know if they have completed a step of that or not. This means, you see, they have completed one part of it, moving everything else. In fact, even the other movements have the same product. So essentially, they completed one part of it. The other part, they cannot decide if the whole thing is supposed to be cancelled or some of it has to be processed. You cannot decide that. So if you think you need to get in touch with them and get this cancelled, I believe this one needs to be cancelled right away, because the actual movement for this 144, I'm not sure if it's ounces or something else. Okay, it's ounces. So 144 ounces receipt was cancelled, and you, let me see who completed that. Okay, so you canceled this 8 months ago, but the second step of this thing was never canceled, and you see it's waiting for another operation, the operation that has already been canceled anyway. So just get rid of this.
So how do you do that?
Click cancel.
Go into transfers and then click cancel instead
Yep.
of, because I just go into the receipt.
hmm Because the second step is also connected. You see the same PO number is there.
So there's two steps to canceling a back order more or less.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
We didn't know that. I don't think we knew that.
You have this thing for a very long time. It's a two-step thing. Not a lot of people process this second step. That's the problem. So
Okay.
just remember, every time a PO is confirmed, it's always a two-step movement, unless it's in OVP. So in this current condition, you see, I can see that there is supposed to be this, which is supposed to be moved, and then there is supposed to be this, which is supposed to be moved as well. And these are all reservations completed. So you have 320 ounces and then 1 ounce that we did today. This is supposed to be moved away. Now, going back, if I take away this reference, you see there is more in this location.
So all those old things probably shouldn't even be
Mm,
there.
Yes. So currently I'm seeing that there is 22 units of some stuff. So these things have been sitting in here for as long as 2018, and they're not supposed to be moving anyway. So maybe just get empty them out, right? Quarantine receiving, they don't even have this anymore, as far as I
Yeah, we
believe.
don't even, I don't think we ever carried that. It might be a DRC thing.
Then we talk about this. This has been sitting in the quarantine for from January 2019. This is sitting there, and you see this problem right there. If I expand on it, it tells me that one on hand, one available. This means it's not scheduled to be anywhere. It's not
That might
required
have been a
anywhere at the moment.
sample, would probably be my guess on that one.
hmm
One of our retained, because we used to keep a sample of our external, the EMPs.
hmm
So if it's
Now,
just
in this,
one, it's probably a sample that needs to be scrapped.
right, in this condition, in this conditioner, you see the normal conditioner. You see here, nine on hand, three are scheduled to be somewhere. The other six, however, are never going anywhere. So you can check across multiple factors in the stock report. The stock report, the best friends you'll have is the product category, the location filter, the incoming date grouping, and then you can take a look at the lot serial number, the package, or anything else. So the product is the very base factor here, right? But the product category is a filter that you can use, and then you can also, in fact, you don't manage a stock, but then it's possible to also look at the removal date for any lot number as well in this list. So that's
Mhm.
also possible. So this is your new version 15 reporting in the inventory and in the purchase. Other than that, your purchase process remains almost consistent with how it was. That new thing around the OVP we discussed, that also stays here. So you can use the same operation and have your OVPs included in that as well. They'll not follow this two-step process. They'll go directly into finished goods.
Mhm. But did you say that I didn't actually have to change it to the OVP on on the PO
Yes. If you
because
want, you can skip the
the
whole
route
thing.
is already created correctly and it will just automatically go to finished goods?
Depends on the category though.
Right.
So if the product belongs to the OVP category, which is right here, any products in this category, if you buy them and use the same receipt route, they'll go through just fine, directly to finish good.
Instead, yeah, so I don't have to manually change it to OVP receipts.
Yep.
Okay.
So any questions from you, Renee?
Uh,
Anything you think is a concern at the moment? I know you love playing around with the dashboard module. It's already there. Ask Eli for access on a staging so you can at least play around and create your own things in that duration. This training is accessible for all of you.
okay. Yeah, I'm excited to play around. Um,
All right.
I
I'm
like
happy
learning
you
new
are.
things.
Uh,
Like I said, I've been doing it for so long that I'm used to finding my own way around.
I'm glad you have that thing in your mind. All the other people just stick to what they have
Oh,
for the most part. All right, so thank you, Renee, for joining me. We have a support call going, and if you have any issues, anything you need to discuss, that support call, I believe you're also on the list of the invitees on that.
okay.
Yep, you're there. So you should be seeing that on your calendar. Just to jump in whenever you think you need the support from us. So
Okay.
someone will be readily available all throughout. I don't think there is any more time requirements on the process discussion, because when you run through it, you'll see most of it is same. The only exceptions that we had, we discussed through those. And then if you have a specific questions, we can a specific question of something that we need to address, we can address that as a helpless ticket, or maybe you getting on the support call.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you. Get some rest.
Uh, I'll be here up to 6, at least 5:30 p.m. your time. So
Oh,
resting is a luxury that I am not gonna get until the end of this week.
at the end of the week. Well, you take care of yourself.
Sure. Thanks.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you.